Okay, I need to get super comfy because I'm about to get into this. Oh boy. I guess the best way to talk about this is that I spent a huge chunk of my life in hiding. And today we're going to talk about the art of unhiding. How many of you can relate to hiding in so many different ways in your life? And you're looking for the tools or the ideas or the spark of inspiration or motivation that you need to go, I'm done hiding. I want to come out of hiding. And that's what we're going to talk about because that's what I've done in my life. And it took a really catastrophic event for me to even begin to start thinking about this all the way back to my childhood and look at all the different ways I've been hiding for so long. Today, we're going to dive into all of that. Let's get it.
Welcome to the Soul Wide Open podcast with your host, author, and certified trauma-informed coach, Michelle Renee.
Hey, everybody. Well, hey, everybody. Oh my gosh, it's my first podcast episode of 2026. I'm so excited, and I'm having a little bit of tea because it's cold here in Texas right now. And yeah, just a little chai tea. And shout out to Kristen Cavallari for this amazing little trick she taught me for coffee, and but for me for tea. You just put a little bit of like pure cream and organic maple syrup and organic pure vanilla paste, and that's your creamer. So there's no like crazy chemicals or anything in it, and it's delicious. I love it. I love it. I love it. And today, oh my God, talk about soul wide open. Here we go. All right. Unhiding after years of really hiding yourself and hiding who you truly are because of shame, because of pain, because you're afraid people will judge you, because you're afraid you won't be liked, you won't be accepted. There's so many things that go on in terms of the psychological level of why we hide ourselves. Trauma is a big part of it. At least that was a really big part of it for me initially. And then after the whole other trauma that I had in my adult life and some things that have happened in my adult life, I really began to hide myself in so many different ways. But there's so much to get into in regards to this. But today, just for the sake of this being my podcast episode, I really want to talk about the three top ways that people hide themselves and how to break free from those habits and start really embracing the art of unhiding. And it's just FYI, it's so much fun. Like the unhiding part and discovering yourself in these ways that we're going to talk about and breaking free from that is it's liberating. It's so fun. So it's interesting that a lot of people think that coming out of hiding means that we have to be loud or start making bold statements. And it isn't like that. I mean, coming out of hiding and the art of unhiding, it's it's softer. It's quieter. It's a quiet revealing to yourself. It's really personal to you. A lot of people don't even realize that they're hiding parts of themselves from the world. And a lot of people don't even realize that they're hiding from themselves too. Because it's really hard to confront certain aspects of our lives and events that we've gone through and experiences and lived experiences that we've had. It's not easy to do that sometimes. And so, what do? We hide from ourselves. We hide from being ourselves out in the world because sometimes that is really difficult to confront. And it isn't always easy to be really, really honest with ourselves, right? And until we're really honest with ourselves, it's really difficult to be honest with anybody else, with everybody else, and be honest out in the world in your way of being. Sometimes in hiding, we call it being polite. We hide behind being polite. Or, oh, we're strong and we're independent, right? And we hide behind that because we've grown up in survival. And so we think that being strong or being independent is a good thing. And I'm not saying that it's not a good thing, but it actually can be a negative thing if it is something that we hide behind. Sometimes we even consider like saying, "Oh, I'm low maintenance." And that's actually another way that we hide. That is just an excuse or a way that we're kind of lying to ourselves. And I'm guilty. I used to say that all the time. I completely own the fact that I'm not as low maintenance as I claim to be for so many years. And I'm okay saying, guess what? I like flowers. Guess what? I like to go on trips and travel. Guess what? I'm not I like living on a ranch. I get my hands dirty. I do all of these things in certain ways. I'm low maintenance, if that's what you want to call it. But I'm totally okay saying, I like nice things. Sometimes I'm not low maintenance. I'm a little bit of both, right? That's being super honest. And sometimes we say those kinds of things because we want to be accepted. We want somebody to like us, especially in a romantic relationship, because men, we hear all this stuff all the time about, oh, she's high maintenance, and men saying that. Guess what? Saying that you're low maintenance just to get somebody to like you, to think that you're not that much work or that you're not high maintenance, isn't ever going to work anyway because you're starting a relationship off hiding and being a people pleaser. And that is no way, that's honestly just no way to live because in whatever way we're hiding, it is costing us intimacy. It is costing us honesty. And it is costing us aliveness. It is costing us being fully alive and awake and enjoying life in our own skin in a way that is really, really beautiful. So, I think one of the number one ways that we hide is that we decide that we're going to be, or maybe we don't even decide, maybe we don't even realize that this is a way that we're hiding, but we decide to become agreeable and we become easy. Again, it's that low maintenance thing. We don't want to cause anybody any trouble. We want to avoid conflict at all cost. We don't want to upset everybody. We want to make everybody comfortable and happy. And again, is there anything wrong with wanting to, make sure that people are happy and make sure people are comfortable? Sure, that is fantastic. But what cost is that to you when you're doing it all the time? When you're putting your own needs on the back burner because you're so worried about being easy and being nice and people liking you. And this blanket just keeps falling down more and more, and I'm just gonna have to fix it real quick. Um, yeah, what is the cost of that to you? I mean, is that costing you what you need to feel comfortable? Is that costing you what you need to be happy? Is that costing you your ability to assert yourself in terms of what you want and what you need? I I relate to this because I put everybody else before myself for a long, long time, and I'm actually still guilty of doing that even today. I mean, I've just progressed leaps and bounds, but am I ever going to be 100% that person that just like puts myself first all the time? No, I'm probably never going to be that person, but I am to the point now where I realize that I am just as important, and my happiness and my joy and my comfort and what I need and the things that I love and how I want to enjoy my life, whether anybody else understands it or not, including relationships. If I'm in a relationship with somebody and other people don't understand it, I honestly don't care. I don't need anybody to understand why I'm living my life the way I do, or I travel the way that I do, or I live out on a ranch by myself and I'm alone to recharge my batteries almost all the time, or why I do anything in my life that brings me joy. Some people don't understand that. But I got to the point where I was living my life in a way that was so people pleasing so much of the time that I was sacrificing my own joy. I was sacrificing my own happiness. And an example was I used to say yes all the time to things. Hey, Michelle, will you do this? Can you do this? Can you go here? Can you do this? I used to say yes to everything. Even though I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm dreading this, but I'm going to be nice. I'm going to do this." And you know what? I disguised it as, "Oh, I'm going to do the right thing." Guess what? Sometimes the right thing for you is not the right thing for somebody else, and that's okay. So we need to, in order to break free from that habit and that mindset, you need to begin to say, what I need is just as important as anybody else's needs. Is what I'm agreeing to, is it what I'm being easy about? Is it what I'm being agreeable to actually healthy for me? And if the answer is no, when somebody asks you to do something, don't immediately just say yes. A knee jerk reaction for somebody who's overly nice and overly people pleasing is that they say yes right away. Instead, say, you know what, I'm going to think about that. I need to check my calendar. I want to check in with myself and I'll get back with you. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is you being honest with yourself first, and you're being honest with other people. And pretty soon, you start really understanding, oh my gosh, I'm not I'm not going and doing this thing that I was dreading. And instead, I'm enjoying reading a book at home, or I'm enjoying going to the spa, or I'm enjoying going to lunch with a friend, or I'm enjoying going on a hike. Like I am going to use that time that I was going to be doing something just to please somebody else. And it's okay to do something just to please somebody else sometimes. But if you're like me, you are doing it right now all the time at your own expense. And that has to stop. So start putting what you need on the top of your list and take a beat when somebody invites you to go somewhere. Like, take a beat, think about it, be honest with yourself. Is this something I really want to invest my time and my energy in doing? And with certain people, because certain people would invite me to do things and I would say yes because I would feel bad. No, no more feeling bad. Feeling bad for who? I mean, and then you end up being miserable. I I just that is just over for me. And doing things with people that are an energetic total misalignment is just not happening anymore. It's just not happening anymore. I recently had a situation where I went with somebody somewhere and the entire trip that this person was on, it was really uncomfortable. And that's the best way that I can put it. It was very uncomfortable. It was an energetic mismatch completely. And coming back from that trip, I knew that this was not anybody that I ever want to spend any kind of significant time with again. And totally sweet woman, not in alignment with me whatsoever. And I'm going to stick up for myself and say, you know what? I'm going to protect my energy. I'm going to protect my time. And this isn't somebody that I want to spend any kind of time with ever again, honestly. And do I feel bad about that? Not at all. Did I used to feel bad about that? Yes, because I didn't put myself on the top of my own list of important people. And so that's what we need to start doing. Stop just being easy and agreeable. It doesn't matter if somebody doesn't like your choice that you're making for yourself, that's on them. Don't feel bad. Feel really, really good about that decision and really, really proud of yourself for finally starting to break free from that habit of being too agreeable, people pleasing, and putting your own self on the back burner and what you need. That end, nix it. Because if you don't nix it, guess what the cost is? Resentment starts to build up. Emotional loneliness starts to creep in. And people are actually loving a version of you that isn't even real. Think about that. People that are super agreeable and easy, and other people are kind of really dictating their life. They're kind of managing your life because they know, oh, let's just ask Michelle, she'll do it. Let's just ask her. Oh, she'll do it. She's always does it. She always shows up. She's always this. She's always that. Is that really what you want? Is that making you happy? Or is that creating emotional loneliness? Is that creating resentment? Is that the version of you that you want people to love and embrace? So stop letting people manage you in your personal life and what you do, and having expectations of you being the person that's always the easy one, always misagreeable. Stop being misagreeable. It's a lot more fun to just stand up for yourself sometimes and go, you know what? Let me introduce you to the real me. Oh, number two, this is me. Oh boy. We hide behind strength and self sufficiency. I grew up in total, total survivor mode my whole life. Survival was all I knew. It was breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it has really cost me in relationships in my adult life. Trusting someone, feeling safe with someone, allowing someone to be kind and nice and take care of me has been really difficult for me to do. Constantly saying, oh no, I've got it, even when I'm exhausted. I've been the helper that helps everybody all the time, and I never, ever ask for help. This is a big theme in my life, actually, in these last couple of months. This is a big theme that's come front and center for me to have to deal with. And I have. And I actually reached out for help a couple of times. And one person rejected me and it hurt. And I wanted to crawl back into a hole and never ask anybody for help ever, ever, ever again. And I sat with that for about a week and I decided, you know what? No, I'm not going to let that detour me from evolving out of this way of hiding. I'm not going to do that anymore. If I need help, I'm going to ask for help. I'm human like everybody else. I go through tough times just like everybody else in relationships, in my finances, in spiritually, in every way. I get hung up sometimes too. I fall for the wrong person. I end up, slipping back into some old habits that I need to break out of, and I need help sometimes. And I am the person that never asks for help because I'm strong. I'm self-sufficient. I got this. I can do this on my own. I don't need anybody because that's how I grew up, just priding myself on the fact that I don't need anything from anybody else, like I'm wearing some sort of badge. That's not healthy. That's hiding. It is not healthy. That is hiding. And that comes from a place of trauma, without a doubt. That kind of strength and self sufficiency, if you will, and I don't even, it's like this, you can call it, it's strength, but it's armor. It can become an absolute prison because of the times in your life when vulnerability was dangerous. And vulnerability was really dangerous for me a couple of days ago. And that's the thing that started me thinking that I really needed to make this my podcast for the first one of this year. I want to be vulnerable. Not everybody's going to be able to handle me being vulnerable. And then I don't know what just happened to the lighting, but we just had a light bulb blow out, but we'll see what happens with that. But I want to be vulnerable. I'm not going to allow being strong and self sufficient and hiding behind that because of my survival mode past. I'm not going to let it steal that from me anymore because the cost of that is relationships that never have any depth at all. And the disconnection that you feel when you're constantly strong and self sufficient. No, I got it. No, I got it. Imagine that. No, I got it. What is this? No, I got it. That's pushing away. Nope, I got it. Pushing away, get away, that causes massive disconnect, total disconnection with people in your life. And it's again like the first one when we're easy and agreeable and all this kind of stuff. It's not healthy. It's just not. So how do you break out of that? How do you break out all that? That was a lot. Start asking start asking for help before you hit a wall. Before you hit the critical breaking point, ask for help. And do it lovingly to yourself. You are asking for help out of love for yourself. It's not a weakness. It is a strength. That is a totally different kind of strength than hiding behind being strong and self sufficient and I got it. No, asking for help is actually a beautiful kind of strength. And it's you loving you. It's you asking for help out of love for yourself and care for yourself and protecting your nervous system, right? And start letting people show up for you without you trying to control what that looks like. Don't try to control everything because those of us who are overly self sufficient and strong from survival mode and we do everything on our own and I don't need anybody mentality, we even try to control how other people show up for us to help us, right? We can't do that anymore. Let them show up and give and help and support you in the way that they feel really good about. It could be cooking you dinner. It could be just bringing you firewood. It could be paying for your meal. It could be whatever way somebody's going to show up for you where they feel like they're making some kind of a difference in your life and don't try to control it. I know that's hard because we try to control everything, but we have to learn how to stop trying to control every little thing because, again, not healthy, not healthy, not healthy. And this is a big one. Write this down. Instead of saying, I don't need anyone, replace that with, I am allowed to need. I'm allowed to need. I'm allowed to need someone. I'm allowed to need help. I'm allowed. I totally give myself permission to need someone. Totally give myself permission to need help. I am allowed to need. And yes, there's lots of ways that we hide food, drugs, sex, all different kinds of ways. But that is not number three. Number three is we hide behind intellectualizing and overly spiritualizing our feelings. So, one way that takes shape is that instead of just feeling our feelings and feeling what's going on with us, I mean, really feeling it the pain, the shame, the embarrassment, the joy, the anger, the resentment, feeling it, right? You're just constantly exploring it. You're constantly just in exploratory mode. But when you're exploring, you're not actually sitting in it and feeling it. We use growth or spirituality or psychology to skirt around pain. We don't actually identify the pain. And for a long, long time, I feel like I did that. I feel like I really probably more than intellectualizing, I spiritualized it because I am very spiritual, completely spiritual. But when I realized that in order to understand it instead of spiritualize it, you can't understand the pain and you can't heal the pain when you just intellectualize it or spiritualize it. You've got to feel it. And the reason why I really wanted to begin to feel that is because I want to honestly, genuinely, when someone else is talking about their pain, when my daughter is talking to me about something that's painful for her, or a friend, or even a stranger, when I'm getting messages from people that are total strangers talking to me about the violent trauma or the traumas that they've survived and their pain, I want to know I have allowed myself to feel that before and not just put a band-aid of spirituality or intellectualizing over the top of it. No, I want to bleed. I want to bleed. I want to tend to that wound. I want to feel that pain. I want to bleed. I want to feel it all. And I didn't get to that point for a really long time because facing that pain and feeling that pain is painful. Like, it's not soft, it's not fluffy. It's not it's not pretty. It can be really hard. It can be really ugly to feel pain and allow yourself again to be as vulnerable as you can possibly be. And when you give yourself permission to actually feel pain, and claim and own that pain for a time. Don't get stuck there. Don't get stuck in this whole I'm a victim for the rest of my life mode. Like that's not what I'm talking about here. Allow yourself to feel that. And it's funny because once you identify it and you say, "Okay, here's the pain, boy, I'm really feeling it. Here's what caused the pain. I'm really feeling it." And you begin to identify and not intellectualize. You begin to feel. It's funny that when you spiritualize and intellectualize, it hangs on. When you identify and you feel it and you're right there and you're in it and you let yourself sit in it, it tends to dissipate much more quickly. And for me anyway, and that it's almost like this release. Once you feel it, it almost feels like you're going, okay, I can give it permission to let it go. But when you're not, when you don't feel it and you don't identify it and you just spiritualize or intellectualize it, you never actually release it, if that makes any sense. So we've got to really give ourselves permission to feel every single bit of that, every single bit of it. And in doing all of that, in doing the intellectualizing and the spiritualizing, you kind of in a way are like, I'm going to stay sort of above this mess instead of in it. And real true evolution and gaining those lessons, you've got to be in the mess. You've got to own the mess. You've got to just let yourself be in it for a minute. You know what I mean? Because all of that can give you plenty of insight. You can embody all the insight that you want. But if you don't feel it, that is still hiding. And for me, I believe when that was going on for me, because that was kind of again my way of protecting myself. I didn't want to feel any more pain because I felt enough, kind of, like been through enough in my life. I don't need to put myself through that by feeling more pain. And but that again, hiding, more hiding. But once you decide that you're ready to do this, because the cost of that is being emotionally numb, and the cost of that is being stuck in certain patterns, and the cost of that is healing that actually never lands in the body. All the healing that I've done and that I was doing back probably 8 or 9 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, up to that point, you could tell that the healing didn't land in my body because I tipped the scale at over 200 pounds. And I couldn't take it off for over 20 years after the kidnapping because the healing wasn't landing in my body because I never gave myself permission to truly, deeply go in it and feel it. And ever since I did that, things began to change for me, not just spiritually, but physically. That is when my physical transformation began. And everything changed for me when I decided, that's it. I'm going to feel all of it. I'm going to feel all of it. And that's when it landed in the body. And that's when I started taking care of myself and not even to the point where like it was a chore. It just started to happen. I just woke up when I started feeling. I woke up. So instead of constantly thinking, feel. Instead of going, what do I think about this? Say, what do I feel? Drop everything, drop it out of the head and let it land in the body. How does this feel? Do I feel tense? Are my shoulders going up? Am I cramping? Is my heart rate going up? What is happening in my body? Begin to feel and listen. Allow yourself to scream, cry uncontrollably, like shake, hit something with a pillow, like whatever it is that you need to do, and allow yourself to soften. Allow yourself to soften and do all of this. Let yourself do all of this. Just get it out in a healthy way, not aimed at somebody else, not where it's going to cause anybody any harm or anything any harm or break things, but allow yourself to do that without trying to fix it. You're not broken. There's nothing to fix. And crying is normal. That's what emotions are for. They're to help us process life. Getting angry is not a bad thing. There are healthy ways to process anger and sadness and disappointment and resentment and all of these things. Allow yourself to go there without trying to fix it. And I think, lastly, the last important thing when you're breaking this pattern of hiding in this way is to, instead of immediately going into like, okay, what is the lesson? What is the lesson? Like I do that. Like I do that. I'm now becoming way more conscious of the fact that I do that, and I'm sharing this with you because it's really working for me. Instead of that immediately going to, okay, what's the lesson? No, that comes second. First, go to the raw emotion. Not what's the lesson. First thing you do, how's this making me feel? Which is what I did with this exchange with this person the other day. How did this make me feel? And where is it coming from? And now comes the lesson. And the lesson is everything to do with him ever bringing anything up like that to me in the first place, and my being attracted to a man like that I need to dive into. Just remember, unhiding, like I said, isn't pretty. Unhiding is messy. And that's how you know it's real. That's how you know you're being real. That's how you know you're being real out in the world with yourself and with other people. And isn't that what we want? We want to be real, especially in a world today where so much is like not real with AI and all this stuff going on. Like, we want to be as real and authentic and ourselves as totally possible, because that's the person and the version of you. Don't Isn't that the person and the version of you you want people to see? Don't you want that? Like, don't you want that? I don't know why anybody wouldn't want that. I do. I want that for me. And speaking of AI, I'm going to bring this up just as one way that I've decided to come out of hiding. I've been writing since high school. I've been writing poetry and songs since high school. And just before Christmas, I came across a song. I actually went in search of it and I found it, that I wrote about me and my daughter, and I wanted to put it to music as a Christmas present for her. So I started doing some research, and I saw someone on TikTok that is a songwriter, and she doesn't have a publishing deal, and no one's picked her up for a publishing deal. And she said, "You know what? I'm going to take my song lyrics and I'm going to put music to them, and I'm going to start putting my music out on TikTok and everywhere and see if someone discovers me. And please, everybody, share my music. I hope to get a publishing deal someday. It's my dream." And I was like, "Oh, you can do that? I want to do that." So I've taken my songs, and they're all written in song structure. Like, here's the verse, here's the chorus, here's the bridge, here's the hook, here's the chorus again, here's the outro. Like, I hear it in my head, and I do this whole thing because I'm so creative with everything, with my writing and with my filming, and I've been writing songs for a long time. And so I did that. And I ended up now with 22 songs that I've actually put to music. And I put the lyrics and the whole song structure into a program on my computer, and I put it into an AI program, and I get to say, this is the instrument I want, the tempo that I want, the tone that I want, the genre that I want, the vocal that I want, all of that. And I get to tweak it and basically direct everything about it or produce kind of everything about it. And it spits out my song. And sometimes I have to go in and tweak it like 20 different times and do 20 different versions of the same song until I get it exactly the way that I want it. And so far, I have 22 songs that I have completed, and 14 of them are on Spotify right now. So go to my Spotify, Michelle Renee, go check it out. And I'm going to just continue writing. And it's a way for me to get out of hiding. It is the realest, rawest me that I can be because I have a really hard time sometimes making sense of what's going on. We're talking about our feelings and the way I grew up and being strong and having struggles with vulnerability. When I put things down in writing where I can see it, I can actually see it and make sense of it and give it a home. And I've said this always, give it a home outside of, I can't just have it live and breathe up here. It needs to live and breathe someplace else besides up here, and someplace that I can see it and look at it and make sense of it. And that's how I've processed my life and my feelings and my thoughts for ever since high school and maybe even before that. But I can only kind of remember back to getting serious about it in high school. So there's so many ways that we can come out of hiding. I don't know what yours is and the different ways that we just talked about that people do hide and the different ways you can break free from that and really start to, you know, hone in on the art of unhiding. What does the art of unhiding look like for you? Like you can design what that looks like for you, make it a priority this year because once you start doing it, you'll never, ever, ever go back to hiding the way that you used to. Again, there's certain ways I still hide, I'm still working on it. But oh man, I am leaps and bounds. I'm so far out of hiding compared to what I used to be. It's so much fun. I want it for all of you. I want this so much for all of you. Unhiding doesn't mean that you overshare. And like what I said about what I said to the guy that I sent that message to, it wasn't oversharing. That was truth sharing. There is a difference. It's about being honest. It isn't about oversharing. It's about being honest and choosing honesty over protection. The right people don't need you to be quieter or smaller or more agreeable or the strongest one in the room. No, the right people need you to be real. And here's the bonus. The moment you stop hiding, you give everyone else permission to come out too. I hope this has been really helpful for you. I want this for you. I want you to come out of hiding. Go do it. I know you could do it. Go over to Instagram or TikTok or wherever you find me and tell me how you're unhiding in your life. I'd love to hear it. I'll see you on the next one.